So we're joined here today by Zeneca. How are you today, brother?
I'm well. I'm doing good. It's Saturday night where we're recording this, and
Oh man.
yeah, midnight actually, right
Oh
on the
my
dot here.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate your time and everything. You know that already.
Absolutely.
First question is, when did you first get into NFTs?
First got in. I first heard about NFTs, I think, in Feb 2021, and
Mm,
then like it was sort of like a month or so of just like skepticism, uncertainty, and then I came around and was like, okay, I get that there's something here, but I don't really get it. Like I don't know how to get involved. And then yeah, so that's when I first got aware of it, and then like over the next 2 or 3 months I started getting more and more into it, and probably by around yeah, April I would say I was pretty much all in.
nice, nice. Do you remember what particular exposure it was? Was it like a Gary V tweet, NBA Top Shot,
So I
50
had
Gateway?
I had a friend, like my friend Jamie, who's co-host to my podcast. He asked me, have you ever heard of a hash mask, or do you know what
Mm,
hash masks are? And I was like, no, I have no idea. And then maybe later that day or the next day, he sent me some screenshots of a chat between him and some of his other friends of like what hash masks were and like the prices that we're going for. And I was like, this is ridiculous. This is some scam, some Ponzi, some. And then like over the next few days, he was saying, now they spend 3,000, but this rare one is worth 10,000 and 20,000. And obviously, I honestly thought it was like some sort of cult. You pay
mm,
to level up and you get deeper in. So that was my first exposure. And then there was a Substack article by
mm.
Packy McCormack called Power to the Person. And it's all about the creator economy and CryptoPunks and the metaverse and how just how all of this can actually have real utility and value. That's sort of like that aha moment when I was like, oh, okay, there's something real here.
It clicked to you then and there.
Yeah.
So what was your first mint or what was your first purchase NFT wise? Was it were you like, oh, like let me get a hash mask? Um
No, I couldn't afford a hash mask. I really wanted one because I thought they were really cool, but I can't remember how much they were at the time. I mean, I could have afforded one if I like put all my ETH or money into it, but it's like such a large percentage of my bankroll. It was never um like a sensible thing.
mhm.
One of the first projects I got into was Rare Pizzas. It was like this project where it sounded really cool. They were gonna like celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day, which is the day when the
Yeah.
anniversary of when someone spent 10,000 Bitcoin on two pizzas. And it was just like one of the first projects that I'd even heard of. And like at that point, it was like getting to find out about a project before it mints, huge. So I was like, yeah, let me get into that. I minted a couple, didn't really go anywhere price wise. And then after that, it was art blocks. Like again, one of my mutual
Mm.
friends just said, hey, this seems like a good thing to mint. And it was one of the playground projects on art blocks. Can't remember exactly which one. And yeah, I just started minting a lot of art blocks because I thought it was cool. It was fun. It was exciting. The
Yeah.
randomness element. Getting to the art, I really liked some of the art. And then the prices just didn't do much. They sort of went down. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I guess for the first month or two, NFTs I was buying but not really making money, but I was having fun. It's really exciting to collect, and I was
Yeah.
getting more and more into it and learning more, and yeah,
You were kind of discovering yourself as a collector and like what pieces you like and how you kind of filter.
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I would say it was still very much more through the lens of wanting to make money and wanting to flip and
Mm,
wanting to have price go up. But and like it was nice to collect, like obviously collecting things, but the primary focus was very much it's nice to collect, but I want to make money.
so
Like I can't
yeah.
just collect. I'm not wealthy to collect. And then over time, it became this hybrid where it was like, yeah, I can merge both collecting and sort of investing and trading at the same time.
That's good. That's good that you realized that like earlier on. I kind of just went into like, okay, I like this piece vibes with me. And I just held
Yeah,
on to it. And then I was like, oh, I want that piece, but I spent on money on this piece. I could let go
yeah.
of this piece. And
It's
yeah,
constant juggling of liquidity. Yeah,
for sure, for sure. So what was your first sale that you were like, okay,
it's a good question.
clicks?
Um, I I don't know what my first sale was. My first, I think, probably significant sale would have
Mhm.
been an art blocks curated. So I'm pretty sure I would have minted something curated for let's say 0.1, 0.15, and then like I definitely remember flipping a Subscapes by
Mm.
Matt Deslori. I can never pronounce his last name. I
Yeah.
apologize so much. Matt D and De Solarius. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, I love it.
yeah, I minted for I think 0.15 or something, and then I flipped one. I minted like two or three, and I flipped one for like 1.25 ETH, and that was so much money at the time. I mean, it's still good money,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean now, like in hindsight, the floor is like 10 ETH, and it hit like 30 ETH at one point. But that was the first, I guess. Yeah, thinking back now, that was probably my first significant flip or sale. Yeah.
When you were in art blocks, were you kind of just, obviously you see the art first, like what comes out. Were you doing any research of like, who is this artist? Like, let me follow what their socials. Would it, what info do they have on online?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, particularly for all the curated drops,
Mm,
I would, go look at their Twitter, their Instagram, their website,
yeah.
and just research them a bit more, see what their previous works were, whether it was in the NFT space or not. Early on, it was usually not in the NFT and crypto space, and just sort of getting a feel for them as an artist and a person, and how like uh, just just their body of work and how well respected it was, and just what I thought of it. And yeah, I did a bit of research. Yeah.
Got you, got you. Who are some of your like favorite artists in this space?
Wow. There's so many. Honestly, the first one that comes to mind is OMG I Draw It, he doesn't create on Ethereum, it's a Tezos artist. And he
Mm.
created this he created the Tezards. It's like the first PFP drop on Tezos, but
Oh, nice.
that was like 3 months ago, like maybe April last year. I found him. He created this series called Bedroom Nostalgia, and it's just like this really cute, kind of like nostalgic, cartoony '90s vibe. I grew up in the '90s. Yeah, just great, colorful pieces. So
Ah,
definitely one of my favorite artists. I love so many of the Art Blocks artists. Honestly, I mean, I could name the most popular ones, but I'm not going to go through that list.
yeah, yeah.
Um, who else is there? Sealite. I really, really love Sealite. I have never been able to afford or justify buying any of Sealite's works. I really love DK Motion, the
Oh
animated
my gosh, yeah.
stuff that he does. So good. Yeah.
I-
Yeah. Claire Silver.
oh
Um,
yeah, perfect.
yeah.
That's so
So many
funny.
artists. Yeah.
I'm
That's a few.
excited to like see your gallery. Like I'll have to link it below. I don't know if you set yours up yet.
Yeah, I have a gallery.so gallery, which
Yeah.
I've sort of been adding to this last week. Honestly, like it's fun. It is now my way of like unwinding at the end of the day. I'll spend like half an hour, 45 minutes going through and just like picking out NFTs and like enjoying looking at them. Like so much of my day is just like
Same.
not like it's fun, but it's not like appreciating and getting to actually enjoy the NFTs that I've collected. Now I spend a bit of time on that, so it's really fun.
Dude, I thought it was just me. Like, the craziness of like Twitter or like juggling
Mm,
Discord, creating content between you and me.
yeah,
It's like, okay, let me check my gallery. And I'm like, like let me move some pieces around.
it's so
But it's
just rewarding, isn't it? Yeah.
it's a bit like you could kind of get lost in it.
Oh,
You're
I
like,
could spend hours, days.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Awesome. I'm glad I'm not the only one like weird. I thought I
yeah.
was just like weird, like, let me fix this up.
No, I think everyone has that desire. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Who are or were there any OGs that you kind of used as an example when you first got into this space? Like collectors, like um just to name a few, like Pranksy or Jimmy ETH, Jimmy One ETH, just to name a few.
Um, Not like majorly. I always looked up to, or like I guess respected IMDC investor quite a bit. Like his collection is obviously phenomenal.
Oh
So
my
his
gosh.
approach to like buying what you love and not really caring about the price, and very long-term minded investments and that kind of stuff. So if I had to pick one, I guess it would be him. Yeah.
That's an awesome pick. Have
Yeah.
you seen his gallery? Like, oh my
I was
god.
literally looking at it yesterday. Like my jaw just dropped. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, I try to
Yeah.
think of my like approach now is like, all right, I want to someone coming in 3 years from now saying like, oh wow, like the way you and I look at DC investor,
Mm,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, great
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, even his I want to say his post is a lot of things that
Mm.
you kind of think about, you know.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely got a deep insight into the space. Yeah, knows what he's talking about, and a great collector, great eye.
For sure. What are some of your biggest lessons learned?
Um, let's see. One that I'm still kind of learning is just to take profits more. Like I don't have an infinite well of money. And I have revenue streams now. Like this is something I learned as I was going along. Um, but even now it's like, take profits when the goings are good because the markets are cyclical no matter what. It's not up only forever. We're seeing that clearly today, or the last couple of days, with ETH prices at least. What are the lessons? I mean, just sort of generally, um, one is like, I don't know if it's a lesson. It's more of a rule that I've implemented over time. It's like no aping before coffee. If I wake up in the morning, it's so tempting. You look at your phone, you check notifications on Discord and laptop. It's like, oh, this thing minted overnight. Let me go check, see if I want it. Or this thing's minting right now. I'm like blurry eyed and just like checking. It's like 9 times out of 10, if I've bought something in that moment, I've gone on to regret it. So yeah, it just sort of don't rush into things too much. And especially as like, there's definitely periods during like the bull markets where you can like ape first, research later.
Hmm.
Sometimes that works, but by and large, that sort of approach I think is going to get less and less just viable as time goes on. Yeah.
For sure. And what were just to quickly unpack like something that you had said there with ETH going down, and we seen it where ETH is down, NFTs up. Now
Mm,
ETH is going like way lower than people are expecting. So do you think
mm.
it'll still be NFTs up as ETH is going down?
It's really hard to say. I think probably like I think
Hmm.
the NFT market is sort of separated enough from just ETH and the regular crypto markets in the sense that ETH, Bitcoin, alts, they're very much still driven by like just finance and tech. Whereas NFTs obviously have the finance and tech element, but it's also art, music, culture, celebrity, video games, all these other
It's
industries
huge.
and
Yeah.
people. So I don't think that sort of attention and demand is going to go anywhere. So I think that, and we sort of saw last year as well when ETH dropped from whatever it was, like 4K back down to 16, 1800.
Hmm.
Uh, that's sort of when we saw NFTs really pop off. Like say, I can't remember exactly when it was. Maybe May, June, July, August is that period, and then
Yeah.
ETH started going up, and NFTs also went up when ETH was going up. So that was like an interesting situation. I don't know, like it's too difficult to compare one cycle to the previous one because so much changes and there's so many more people in the market now and so many more projects. But I do think that I think when ETH stabilizes, that's probably when NFTs tend to do the best. People don't like to transact, because gas is really high if ETH is dropping a lot or pumping a lot. But also people are just like a little uncertain about what they want to do with their NFTs, these illiquid assets, when ETH is dropping tons or pumping tons. So yeah, when ETH stabilizes, wherever that may be, whether it's around where we are now at 2,400, if it drops to 1,500 or 800, or if it stabilizes at 5K, I think at those points is when NFTs will start to thrive
Got you. That's
again.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing well already, but yeah.
Yeah, those are all great points and everything. So what would you say your best mint or purchase is thus far?
It's got to be the three apes that I bought between zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.7 ETH. I mean, which I've still held, like, and that's probably they're each worth. I mean, if you include the dog, the mutant, and everything, like 100 ETH each, so that's just a ludicrous return. It's hard. Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, obviously, there's things like there've been free mints where you've had a good return.
Yeah.
Um, loot was really good. Like I didn't mint any loot, but I
Hmm.
bought them at like 0.07 or zero point 0.1. And then they got up to like a 20 ETH floor plus airdropped a bunch of tokens. So that was good and just lucky.
Are they still building on loot? I
There's
haven't.
tons of stuff happening on loot.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Are you familiar with the treasure magic
Yeah, yeah.
ecosystem on
So I'm
Arbitrum?
I'm familiar with
Yeah.
that. I thought that was more of a derivative, and I
Yeah.
didn't
It's sort of
know.
like inspired by loot, I guess. But yeah, you could have staked your loot to get the magic tokens
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still building things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny with treasure. Like if I don't know how early you like staked your loot or like bought treasure and staked
I
it?
had loot and I just never staked it, so I got in very late.
Just the website and like how much they've built
Mm,
is kind of amazing. And it's like one of my favorite, this is my own opinion, not financial advice, is like one of my favorite L2s to be
mm.
on, just
Yeah,
because.
it's really nice to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said the three apes, you haven't sold any. Nice.
Yeah, I listed one of them once. I
Uh-huh.
think between like the 3 to 6 ETH range. I can't remember
Mhm.
where it was. And it was listed for about 25 minutes. And then I was like, what am I doing? Like, I just like snapped out of it. And then obviously I needed liquidity for something at the time. And it's always
Mhm.
like this juggling thing where you're like, what can I sell? Well, I have 3 apes. Do I need 3 apes? You know, and it was probably
Mhm.
3, 4 ETH at the time. It was a ton of money. So I was like, well, I could take this and put in something else and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean that the other thing would be one of the Fidenzas I minted. So mint price
Oh.
0.17, floor price, I don't know, somewhere between 70 and 80 ETH at the moment. I minted four actually, and I sold three for less
Oh,
than one
okay.
ETH each, which is one of the, you know, oops things. But again, no regrets really there. I
Yeah.
think I needed that there was good flips at the time. I needed liquidity and still have one. So
That's
yeah,
that's
very,
a
very
lesson
fortunate.
learned and everything. And you know how it is. Like sometimes people could kind of look back like, oh, if I would have just held, like if you focus on that too much, you're gonna miss the
Gonna
opportunities coming.
Yeah, it's gonna eat you up inside if you focus on that.
Yeah. So what is your 1 year prediction for this space?
The NFT space specifically
And
or
yeah,
crypto?
sorry.
Yeah.
Let me be specific. The NFT space.
1 year prediction. I think we're gonna have millions of people in the space in a year versus say hundreds of thousands at the moment.
Mm.
I think more and more brands are going to be getting in. Just they're just going to be sort of proliferated everywhere. Like NFTs, they may not even be called NFTs in a year. Like we're already seeing. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Coinbase saying that they're going to sort of call them digital goods or digital assets instead of NFTs on
Mm.
their marketplace, which I think makes sense because there's already a stigma against NFTs. It's not like it's the technology that underwrites all of these digital assets, so it's not necessarily the best word or phrase we have. Um, yeah, so I mean, I think that there'll be a lot more mainstream adoption, but not a ton still, because it's probably going to take 2 to 3 years before. Honestly, the biggest hurdle is gas. It's just like Ethereum mainnet is. It's just not a viable option for 99.9% of humans. Just you can't afford $50 in a gas transaction
Yeah.
at the lower end. And then, yeah, of course, there's like Solana, Tezos, other chains, and other layers, but none of them are really perfect. Solana seems to be having all sorts of issues today. I
Mm.
don't know if you've been keeping on top of it. And, you know, yeah, as time goes on, Ethereum will scale. I'm bullish on Ethereum. I think it'll solve the scalability issues. When it migrates to ETH 2.0, the environmental issues will go away. And that's sort of a big narrative and stigma against NFTs and crypto as well. So we need those things to happen, which may take 2 or 3 years for everything layer two sharding, etc., and gas to be reasonable, and also like the onboarding process needs to be better. Like it's just difficult now to just explain to a new person how to understand MetaMask, seed phrases, gas, everything. Um, yeah, so I mean, there'll be more mainstream adoption. I don't think it'll be fully mainstream in a year. And I think gaming NFTs are going to be continue to pop off, and I think DAOs are going to be really prevalent. Like we haven't really seen DAOs take off yet. I think there's a few of them, but there's going to be just way more, and they're going to be very more prolific.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like you remember Constitution DAO, and then like you're
Exactly.
if
That sort of spurred on a recent,
eh,
surge of DAOs.
that's definitely like the catalyst that people are paying attention
Mm,
to. And I kind of feel it like personally is like there's something this year with DAOs that's just gonna like take off.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So how would you enter the NFT space now if so what would like your advice be for someone new coming in?
It depends a lot, like on who it is, how much money they have, their goals and their risk profile. It's really difficult to give specific advice. The general advice that I always give to someone coming in new is just sort of to be patient. Like
Mhm.
there's this real desire to like rush in. There's excitement and there's FOMO hitting you. People on Twitter are talking about minting these things. Your friends are talking about minting and making profits and having and collecting. And it's exciting and you want it. But if you don't have a lot of money, if like you're not very you don't have a high level of risk tolerance, even if you do, honestly, being patient and just like taking your time to understand the system, being an observer, fly on the wall, researching, talking to people, and then like knowing why you're getting into projects or why you're investing in this area or that area or collecting doesn't have to be an investment. Yeah, it takes time. And I think just being patient is probably the best advice.
Awesome, awesome. And is there anything else that you would like to share to the listeners? Any new
Um,
projects coming up? Thing.
there's so many cool projects. I don't really want to shout any of them out. Um, just because honestly, there's so many.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, just keep on learning. Like investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. So yeah, there, like I said, there's so many cool projects. Just if you want to just be in this space and make, whether it's a career out of it or a side hustle, or you just want to learn a new technology and be part of it, um, jump in and like immerse yourself, and don't be afraid to like talk to people and reach out and say hi and ask questions, because by and large it's a friendly community. And it's still incredibly early, so don't feel like you need to FOMO in. And again, that goes back to being patient. Yeah.
Also, just don't ever share your seed phrase with anyone.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome,
And
awesome.
don't store it on a digital device either. Don't store
Yeah,
your seed phrase on your laptop or on your phone, or don't take a photo of it, anything like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, where can people find you?
Probably best is my Twitter. It's at Zeneca_33. Um, and then yeah, from there you can find my Substack, my podcast, my Discord, my YouTube will probably be out by the time this is out. So it's going to drop in the next 2 days or so. Yeah, all sorts of contents out there.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you again, Zen, for your time, and I appreciate it, and look forward to connecting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was fun.